My ex-wife chose an affair and crime over me. Hello, true story. My name is Sam, and I want to share a story with you that still feels unreal, even though I lived through every minute of it. If you would have told me 10 years ago that my marriage would end, not only because of cheating, but also because of crime, scams, and court dates, I would have laughed in your face and said you were watching too many crime dramas. But here I am, writing you this long email, because my ex-wife didn't just betray me in the usual ways we hear about. She dragged me into a nightmare that still shocks me when I think about it. Let me take you all the way back to how this started, because sometimes I replay it in my head wondering where the signs were. I met my ex-wife back in the summer of 2015. My cousin had hosted this big pool party at his house, the kind of event where he invited family, friends, and just about anyone who could fit in the backyard. He always loved being the life of the party. I wasn't planning on meeting anyone serious that night. I was in my mid-20s, working hard, saving money, and honestly, just wanting to relax, grab a beer, and chill with family. That's when I first saw her. She wasn't even swimming, just sitting on one of the lounge chairs, sipping on something with an umbrella straw in it. She had this confidence in the way she carried herself, like she didn't need to be the loudest person in the room to stand out. My cousin introduced us, and we started talking. She was funny, quick-witted, and she kept asking me about my job. At that time, I had just gotten into a solid position with a company that paid well, and I was proud of it. She said she admired ambition, and honestly, that flattered me. We exchanged numbers that night. At first, we kept it casual, going out for drinks, meeting up for dinner, little dates here and there, but over time, we got closer. We dated for about 2 years before marriage ever came into the picture. Looking back, I realized how quickly 2 years flew by, but at the time it felt like we had built something stable, getting married. When I proposed, it was nothing flashy, just me, her, and a simple dinner. She cried and said yes, and for a while, life felt perfect. We had a nice wedding, nothing over the top, but enough to feel special. I was working hard, paying all the bills, keeping us comfortable. I really thought I was building the dream. Wife, home, stability. The thing is, while I was out grinding, she was living a whole other life behind my back. The affair and the scams. For years, I thought the biggest fear in marriage was just infidelity. Like, if someone cheats, that's the end all, be all. What I didn't know was that cheating could come with an extra layer of chaos I never imagined. See, while I was working overtime, paying off bills, and putting money aside for our future, she was sleeping with a man who turned out to be a straight-up criminal. This guy wasn't just some fling. He pulled her into schemes. Credit card scams, identity theft, the whole nine. And the crazy part? I didn't even find out about the affair because of some lipstick on the collar. Cliché. No, I found out because one day I got a phone call that changed everything. The phone call from jail. It was a regular day. I was at work in the middle of finishing up a project when my phone rang. I saw her number pop up, but when I answered, it wasn't the usual tone. She sounded panicked. She said, "Sam, I need you to come get me." I asked her where she was, thinking maybe her car broke down or she got into a small accident. She hesitated and then whispered, "I'm in jail." At first I thought she was joking. I literally laughed and said, "Stop playing, where are you?" But she didn't laugh back. She repeated it, this time with tears in her voice. "I'm serious, I'm in jail, please bail me out." My head started spinning. I asked, "What happened? Why are you in jail?" She danced around the question, saying, "It's not what it sounds like, just please come get me." After pressing her, I found out she'd been arrested at a U.S. bank trying to withdraw $3,000 fraudulently. My heart sank. I couldn't even process it. My wife, this woman I trusted, the woman I married, was sitting in a jail cell because she was scamming banks with another man. That moment, sitting there with the phone pressed against my ear, I swear the air got sucked out of the room. Discovering the depth of the betrayal. When I finally pieced it all together, it wasn't just one attempt. She had been doing this for months. The total? Over 70,000 stolen through scams. And get this, out of all that money, her affair partner, the man she was betraying me with, only gave her 5,000. I couldn't wrap my mind around it. I asked her straight up, "Why would you do this? Why would you risk everything we built for a man like him?" Her reply still haunts me. "I was afraid of him, but I liked him too. But I love you." That line broke me in ways I can't even explain. Her confession. When she confessed that she had been sleeping with him for months, she explained how they met, some shady connection through a mutual friend. He pulled her into his world, and instead of walking away, she dove deeper. She begged me not to leave, saying she didn't want to go to prison, that she needed me. But at that point, something inside me broke. I moved out. I left her to face the mess she created, the divorce delays. I tried filing for divorce right away, but because she had an open case, the process got postponed. For a whole year, I was stuck in limbo while she kept begging to reconcile. She'd call, text, cry, apologize, and I'll be honest, I'm not perfect. A couple times I gave in and hooked up with her, but my heart wasn't in it. I had no intention of staying married. Eventually, she was sentenced. She got 2 years probation because it was her first offense. Honestly, I think she got lucky. They pressured her to rat out her affair partner, and she admitted to me privately that if she had, he would have been facing over 7 years in prison. But instead of telling the truth, she protected him. I never understood that. Why was she willing to protect this man who dragged her into crime, but she destroyed the life we had built? The divorce finally happens. Once she was sentenced, I was finally able to move forward with the divorce. To my relief, the process went quickly once it actually started. I got what I wanted, the clean break. But here's the kicker. Even after the divorce, she still tries to come back. She still claims she loves me. And yeah, I'll admit it. Every once in a while, we still sleep together. She has a way of seducing me that's hard to explain. But deep down, I know it's nothing more than physical at this point. Moving on. Now I'm planning to move to Georgia. I'll explain the reasons in a follow-up email, but part of it is just wanting a fresh start, away from her and all the reminders of the nightmare I went through. Even now, years later, I still can't believe I lived through all of that. Finding out about an affair is bad enough, but finding out it came with fraud, jail, and courtroom drama. That's a whole other level of betrayal. That's my story, true story. Thank you for reading it. Writing this out feels like therapy in a way. I'll be sending a follow-up soon about why I'm moving to Georgia, but for now, I just wanted to get this off my chest. Why I'm moving to Georgia, part 2 of my story. Hello, true story. This is Sam again. Well, this is that follow-up. This one isn't just about her, though. It's about me, my healing, my lessons, and where I'm headed next. I'll warn you, it's a long one. I guess I still got a lot to get off my chest. Why Georgia? Let me start with the obvious question. Why Georgia? I've lived in the Midwest all my life. Born and raised, my roots are here. But after everything that went down with my ex-wife, the whole city feels tainted. Everywhere I go, there's some memory. I can't walk into certain restaurants without remembering sitting across from her, laughing, thinking she was mine forever. I can't even drive past certain banks without remembering the day I got that phone call from jail. So part of it is just geography. I want to put distance between myself and the mess, but there's more to it. I actually got offered a job in Georgia, a promotion, better pay, and a chance to manage a team. Career-wise, it's the smartest move I can make right now. My company's expanding, and when the opportunity came up, I didn't hesitate. It felt like God was handing me a way out. On top of that, I got family in Georgia. My aunt and uncle live near Atlanta, and they've been telling me for years to come down. They've got a good community, and they keep saying, Sam, you'll meet a good woman down here. You won't have to deal with all that drama. I don't know if that's true, but it's worth a shot. The ghost of my ex. Even after divorcing her, I can't lie. My ex is still like a ghost in my life. She haunts me. Not in a scary movie way, but in a way where she pops up in moments I least expect. She'll text me randomly. Sometimes it's I miss you. Other times it's just a picture, trying to reel me back in. And I'll be real with you. Sometimes I cave. I told you before, we've hooked up here and there since the divorce. I'm not proud of it. Every time it happens, I feel weak. But there's something about her. It's like she knows the exact buttons to push. But after, when it's all over, I feel nothing but regret. It's like eating fast food. You crave it in the moment, but afterwards, you sit there bloated, asking yourself why you did it. That's another reason I need to move. Distance is the only thing that'll break this cycle. Family reactions? My family. Man, they were embarrassed for me. Some supported me, others judged me. My mom, bless her heart, told me from day one that I deserved better. She cried when I told her about the affair and the scams. She couldn't believe her daughter-in-law would do something like that. My dad took it differently. He got angry, not just at her, but at me too. He said, "How could you let this happen under your own roof? How could you not see the signs?" That cut deep because the truth is, I didn't see the signs. Maybe I ignored them. Maybe I was too focused on work. But either way, he made me feel like I'd failed as a man. My cousin, the one who introduced us at that pool party, still apologizes to this day. He says, "Man, I'm sorry I brought her into your life." I tell him it's not his fault, but I know he feels guilty. Courtroom memories. One thing I didn't share in the first email was what it was like going to court. Sitting there, watching her face the judge, I felt like I was in some surreal movie. She wore this nervous smile, like she was trying to charm her way out of trouble. But the evidence was stacked against her. The prosecutor read out the charges, and I remember feeling embarrassed, not just for her, but for myself. Everyone in that room knew she was guilty, and I was the fool who had married her. The judge asked if she had anything to say. She gave this little speech about how she'd fallen in with the wrong crowd, how she regretted it, how she was trying to change. And maybe she meant it, maybe she didn't. But I couldn't help but notice she never once apologized for what she did to me. Not once. Dating after the divorce. People always ask me if I've dated since the divorce. The answer is, sort of. I tried. I downloaded some apps, went on a few dates, but it's hard. Every time I sit across from a new woman, I find myself comparing her to my ex. Not in the sense that I want my ex back, but in the sense that I'm on guard. Like, if this woman laughs at a certain joke, I wonder, is she laughing like that because she's hiding something? Paranoia. That's what it is. My ex broke something in me. She made me question my own judgment. One woman I dated was actually really sweet. She had a good job, no kids, her life together, but I couldn't let myself relax. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. Eventually, she stopped texting me back, and honestly, I don't blame her. That's another reason I want to move. I want a fresh dating pool where I don't have to worry about running into people who know my ex or heard about what happened. Embarrassing run-ins. I'll never forget one day, I ran into my ex at the grocery store. I was just trying to grab some bread and milk, and there she was, standing in the aisle like she owned the place. And she smiled and said, "Hey, stranger." We ended up talking for 15 minutes. She told me she'd been trying to get her life together, working odd jobs, staying out of trouble. Then she leaned in and whispered, "You know I still love you, right?" I laughed, but not because it was funny. I laughed because I couldn't believe the audacity. After everything she put me through, she still thought love was enough to erase it all. Lessons learned. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that love isn't enough. Trust, respect, honesty. Those are the foundations. Without them, love is just a word. I also learned that people will show you who they are, eventually. My ex showed me, and I ignored the signs. She always had this hunger for excitement, for danger. I thought it was just part of her personality. Turns out, it was a warning. The move. So now, I'm packing up. I sold most of my furniture, keeping only the essentials. My lease is up soon, and once it is, I'm gone. Georgia awaits. I don't know what's waiting for me down there. Maybe I'll meet someone new. Maybe I'll stay single for a while and just focus on myself. Either way, I know one thing for sure. I can't keep living in the shadow of my ex-wife's mistakes. This move is my chance to finally breathe again. Closing thoughts. True story. I want to thank you for reading my emails. Writing this all out has been therapeutic. It's like I'm finally putting the past to rest. I don't know if my story will help anyone, but if it does, then maybe some good came out of all this. If nothing else, I hope it reminds people that betrayal comes in many forms, and sometimes walking away is the only way to survive. I'll keep you updated on how Georgia treats me. For now, all I can say is, I survived the storm, and I'm ready for sunshine.